Hey everybody, welcome here to this episode of the Talking Packers with Steve. Here I just wanted to actually show already what matchup I have for the matchup of the week, as you can already tell here in the bottom of the screen as I put my helmets in my hands. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road going up against, if I can put this right, the Kansas City Chiefs. The two best teams in the AFC, I would say, let alone maybe even the two best teams in the whole NFL. The NFC being its own wackiness of wackiness, meaning that I don't think that there's too many high-profile teams that having a chance to go to the Super Bowl, let alone win the Super Bowl. But you have the Jacksonville Jaguars and you have the Kansas City Chiefs as two teams in the whole NFL that I would say be in my top five right now of NFL teams that to me, have the biggest chance to not only get to the Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl. But again, these two teams are in the same conference, not same division, but same conference, that obviously only one of them will get to the Super Bowl, let alone have a chance to win the Super Bowl. If I was a betting man, which team would I want to be? Selfishly, as a fan from the outside, because obviously I represent my Packers, as you can tell with my T-shirt here. As a team I always wanted to see in the Super Bowl every single year and win it every year. It's just how it works as a fan, whether realistically or unrealistically. But hey, it's realistic for the Packers if we have Aaron Rodgers, one of the best in NFL history, let alone one of the best currently playing. And I still say that because Tom Brady's still playing right now. So unless Brady retires before Aaron, then that still sentiment's going to be true. Even for me as a Packer fan, even for me as Aaron's my guy, my quarterback. He's my quarterback. I'm still somewhat realistic in that way because I'm also honest, and sometimes his bravado and ego sometimes annoys me. But again, he's our quarterback. He uses that, I'm sure, when he has those big game moments or comebacks or whatever, that obviously I'll take it because it's a win. Point being is, back to the conversation at hand that I was bringing up here in my beginning monologue, is that the Jaguars and the Chiefs are two teams that I hope to see face again in the AFC Championship game. But for this week, we have Jacksonville at Kansas City, Arrowhead being one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. I would say second best to Lambeau Field, as in the atmosphere. But still, I've never been to a Packers-Chiefs game in Kansas City. It's here also in the Midwest. So if next time we play the Chiefs, whether both teams are still great or both teams suck, I don't care. I'd love to go to a game, Packers against the Chiefs in Kansas City. But here for the Jaguars, a team that I've watched, well, obviously we all have, but point is for me specifically watched and enjoyed them from their birth, so to speak, from their beginnings here in the NFL, back with that old Jaguars logo and jerseys. When there literally was like a jaguar on the side of their uniforms. Uniforms looked kind of weird back then, but still cool and seemed updated at the time. But anyway, back then, Mark Brunell, former Packer backup, taking the Jaguars to the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I think one of the only franchises that have taken their team to the playoffs 2 of the first 3 years of their existence in the National Football League. I'm pretty sure that's still a fact. And still a stat that I would take to the bank if I was a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, or even as like me, a supporter from the outside. Now, to be honest, when I was younger, I was a Jaguar fan in a sense because I liked their logo, and even more so with their new helmet. It's not new now; it's been here for years now. But this new design with their helmets, with the color variation there, as you can tell in this angle. There you go. But then again, I'm a visual person. But again, back to the points. Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs, they're facing off this week. This is my game of the week. And since I'm not in my normal basement layer headquarters for my episodes, I'm here in the living room area with my handy-dandy painting behind me that I love to have. It makes it make my videos look better, I guess, to me. That I say that these two teams should be meeting again in the AFC Championship game, but they are right now meeting this week here. And it's going to be a doozy. It's my game of the week heading into it. And I really hope both teams do deliver. I'm pretty sure that they will do so. The Kansas City Chiefs facing off against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Kansas City. Maybe next time they face off, it'll be in Jacksonville. even if Kansas City wins this game. Jaguar defense, Kansas City offense, Patrick Mahomes playing like Brett Favre. You see that play last week? Left-handed throw. It wasn't like Brett Favre's shovel pass in the goal line situation for a touchdown, but it still was nifty. It still had gunslinger mentality. Just the way Patrick Mahomes just takes a snap and how he runs around and all this other stuff reminds me of Brett. Yes, honestly, with the less mistakes, so maybe even souped up better Brett Favre. But still, Brett Favre being Brett Favre and how awesome he was for our franchise. Sorry about that, just fixing the shirt. But for our franchise here in Green Bay, that I root for and I'm a shareholder of, and Brett Favre himself talking about Patrick Mahomes in so highly of a way of talking about Mahomes being like himself, being a better version of himself. This generation's Brett Favre. And for Kansas City Chiefs fans, I say as a Packer fan that, saw this happen with the actual Brett Favre. Maybe a Super Bowl is going to be coming to you in Kansas City, whether it's 1, 2, or others. I mean, Brett Favre took us to 2 Super Bowls in a row, back to back. Aaron hasn't done that, and there's a chance for him to do that. The point is, he hasn't done that. He's won 1 ring like Brett, but not even 2 appearances, period, for Aaron Rodgers. We'll see if that changes, but for now, that's just a fact that really can't be disputed because that's hard evidence right there. But the point being is with Patrick Mahomes and my words of thought to all parts of Chief Kingdom, as I think their fan base is called, Chiefs Nation, Chiefs Kingdom, that Patrick Mahomes may bring this team. You may see this logo with the Super Bowl emblem with it, not only with it, but with those T-shirts being the champions, right? And I'll have my Snapchat photo and other things that I do every year for Super Bowl champions. And obviously I've been doing it every year. So it's not just when the Packers do it. I do it every year because I know people, at least one person that represents each every NFL team as a fan, and otherwise. And now me going to journalism or into broadcasting specifically, would love to interview and interact with one player from all 32, not just my team that I love, and that being the Green Bay Packers. But point being is maybe it could be in the cards for the Chiefs, just like it was in the cards for the Packers. It may not happen exactly the way Brett Favre's career went, as in each year's win-loss and that. No, that might not be the same, but still could be in that tradition of a trail for Patrick Mahomes to lead his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, to a Super Bowl. Could happen right this year. His first year starting, his second year in the league, right? He's not a rookie. It's his second year. He was behind Alex Smith. Alex Smith now goes to the Washington team, goes to D.C. They ship him out. It's time to start Mahomes, they believe. And Coach Andy Reid, who former Packer assistant coach. I have all faith in everything that he does. And, it wasn't just him. The point is the Chiefs franchise, head coach, GM, and owner decided that this was best for business, best for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're looking like freaking geniuses for doing so. Though it was a foregone conclusion that should have been known that was going to be the case. Kirk Cousins going to the Minnesota Vikings, leaving Washington. So then you need quarterback Alex Smith. You have the rookie quarterback, or was rookie, coming to the second year. So I think the Chiefs are going to be pretty dang good. But for the Jacksonville Jaguars, for this team, as much as I've been pumping up the Chiefs, don't forget about them. A top 5 defense. A defense that has its own bravado and ego, just as much as I was talking about Aaron Rodgers, that sometimes annoys even me, an actual Packer fan, diehard fan. But as a fan from the outside, in the way supporting the Jacksonville Jaguars and their franchise from their infancy stage, from their first year in the NFL in 1998, I believe it was, 96 or 98. That don't sleep on this team. As much as I just pumped up the Kansas City Chiefs and Chiefs Kingdom and Chiefs Nation and how good they are, and they deserved it. That's why I said it. I mean everything that I say, whether you guys, gals, men or women, agree or disagree with me. But let's not forget about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't think anybody is, but I'm just making sure. Jaguar fans out there, I know a couple of them that I actually interact with on Snapchat. I mean fans, not players. I mean fans. I'm not that cool. I'm not interacting with players on Snapchat, but fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they're in their own, honestly thinking that their team not only going to be good, but should be back in the AFC Championship game, because that's where they were last year, and they were a half away from finishing a game and defeating the mighty Patriots. That dynasty that is the New England Patriots. So I just wanted to share about that, maybe even more than I even planned to talk about that, being my game of the week. Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs. And remember the old Monday Night Football? Just YouTube search Monday Night Football intros. Beyond the music and everything, what they used to do is they used to have the helmets do the whole crashing together thing, which I loved. I know people might not have cared about that, but for me, visually, this was awesome to see. So here we go with that, because these two teams are in a collision course, not only to face this week, but maybe even to face again in the AFC Championship game, whether it's Jacksonville pushing them and getting the win, or Kansas City winning here, or if they meet again in the AFC title game. Either way, these two are the best in the AFC, let alone could be the two best in the NFL. Now, let's not forget about the Los Angeles Rams in the NFC. But what other teams beyond the Los Angeles Rams legitimately deserve to be in a top five, right? We have to put other NFC teams in the top five, otherwise we won't have a top five. It'll just be a top one, and that is not good for those TV shows out there like First Take and others that I do enjoy to watch. I'm not demoting them or bashing them. I'm just saying it's going to be a good segment if you try to have a top five for the NFC teams and you just have the Rams. They should be number one, yes, clear cut. But the difference between 1 and 2 in the NFC is vastly different, and like this, than 1 and 2 in the AFC. And I think 1 and 2 in the AFC are the Chiefs and Jaguars. And right now, number one, I would actually put the Kansas City Chiefs for right now. And we'll see this Sunday. It's a noon game. It's not even an afternoon game, because usually the big matchups, though it couldn't be flexed out yet, too early in the season, I believe. But usually those big games are in the afternoon. So the noontime. But either way, this one's going to be awesome. And that's my game of the week. Let's go through the results from week number 4. The Rams over the Vikings, 38-31. The Texans over the Colts, 37-34. The Packers over the Bills, 22-0. Bears crushing the Buccaneers, and it was more of Bears quarterback getting things done, Bears offense, than just the Bear defense. I mean, they were there too, but it wasn't just like Fitzpatrick being destroyed and 7 interceptions or something. No. Both quarterbacks, Fitzpatrick, and then even when Winston came in, they both had turnovers to the Bears defense. The Bears defense is just that good. That one player made a defense, because with his skill, and this was with any team, like it did when Reggie White came to the Packers along with Brett Favre in the offseason of 92 into the 93 season, I believe. And how that changed not only the whole Packer organization, offense and defense, with Brett Favre and Reggie White, and the late Reggie White, late great, but specifically with the defense with Reggie White coming into play, along with other new players as well, and also some of the top draft picks that year, that NFL draft, making that defense. So here with Khalil Mack coming to the Chicago Bears, is changing the culture of that defense. And I'm sure others can explain this better, but it's like just one player, not only with their own abilities and being great, and that's why that changes the defense, because of their greatness and awesomeness, but how that even reflects and inflects with the other players, making them better and wanting to be better, though I'm sure all NFL players want to be great. I didn't mean it that way, but having a player like Khalil Mack on your defense going to make everybody else want to step up their game more so, which then collectively makes that Bears defense all overall great, which already was good. Now would even be great. So Bears over Buccaneers 40-10. Patriots over the Dolphins. Patriots. People were thinking things were falling off the wagon. The mighty Patriots are falling. The undefeated Dolphins, because they get a big win on the road. No. This doesn't mean the Dolphins are terrible. It just means the Patriots had something to prove, and the Dolphins just had to be the whipping boys, so to speak, or the team to take the whipping to prove a point from New England. The Dolphins are still going to be a good team. Just was wrong place, wrong time in a sense. I'm playing the Patriots this week. Though again, I might have been singing a different tune though. Maybe if Dolphins did win, close or in a blowout. So Patriots over Dolphins 38-7. Cowboys over Lions 26-24 in a very close game. Bengals over the Falcons 37-36. The Jaguars over the Jets 31-12. Titans over the Eagles 26-23. Oakland getting their first win against Cleveland 45-42. Perhaps had a little hand in that, but still, Oakland getting the win. Oakland getting the win. That's all that'll matter moving forward to Oakland and to Cleveland, I should say, and should to the Rams. Seahawks over the Cardinals in a closer game than it probably should have been, but 20-17. Earl Thomas going down with an injury, middle finger to the other side. It's the reason why players that hold out should be keeping holding out, like Le'Veon Bell is, as much as it upsets NFL fans, I love Steeler fans. There's a reason they do that. There's an obvious reason. And now we see that in tow with Earl Thomas. And the end of the Seahawks, their own era, their own somewhat source was supposed to be a dynasty. They did win the Super Bowl, so it's not like they didn't get anything out of it. Like my friend Norbcam, a highly popular YouTuber and big fan of the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know if he would agree with me in this assessment, but it just unfortunate way for that all to end. Excuse me for that belch. But unfortunate way to end, but still, it was a good run. You thought you could get more Super Bowl rings out of it and blah, 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 but you had a great years with the Legion of Boom, all of them, and now all of them either retiring, dispersing, going to a new team, and Earl Thomas now out for the year on IR, probably leaving, going to another franchise, or having to retire after the season. So I think he'd probably go to a different team, let alone retire. Saints over the Giants, 33-18. Chargers over the 49ers, 29-27. Like the 49ers, they lose their quarterback, Jimmy G. They lose Garoppolo last week. Torn ACL out for the season on IR. CJ Beathard is their quarterback. And they actually keep it close. Had a lead in the beginning. It was even like a 14-0 lead in the beginning. And the Chargers coming back to get the win. So I guess in a way you could come back for the Chargers, but showing a lot of heart by the 49ers. A team that could have just quote unquote tanked it already here in week 4 for the rest of the season. Now they're gonna keep playing hard. Just as much as the Browns have during their whole entire losing streak. At least I believe that to be true. Ravens over the Steelers in Sunday Night Football. 26-14. And Chiefs over the Broncos. Patrick Mahomes kicking butt, looking awesome, looking like Brett Favre out there. Left-hand pass, as I was talking about earlier. 27-23. Chiefs getting the win there. So let's move on to week 5. Tomorrow night, Thursday night game. Thursday night on Fox, NFL Network, and Amazon Prime. Colts against the Patriots. I got the Patriots over the Colts, 45-13. On Sunday, we have Broncos Jets. I got Denver over New York, 28-13. My Packers facing up against the Lions in a road game, divisional game. It'll be a close game, right? I don't see the Packers destroying the Lions, as we technically did to the Bills. But I do see the Packers getting the win on the road. This time, not needing a Hail Mary to do so, but still getting a win, 27-24. Giants-Panthers. I have Panthers over the Giants, 35-28. Titans over the Bills, 23-17. Falcons over the Steelers, 21-3. Ravens over the Browns, 35-28. Bengals over the Dolphins, 13-9. And the matchup of the week, Jaguars-Chiefs, who I was bloviating and talking about, rambling about in the beginning of the show. It's a tough one even to pick now here in week 4. I mean, week 5. I'm sorry. It's week 5. In week 5, let alone this was the AFC Championship game. But for right now, you have two great teams. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a gunslinging show. And yes, Blake Bortles will be part of it. Okay. Of course. You need 2 to tango, right? Patrick Mahomes, Blake Bortles. So in this type of matchup like that, you always should venture toward a home team. So I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs over the Jacksonville Jaguars, 48-45. There. Chargers over the Raiders, 23-13. Eagles over the Vikings, 27-23. LA Rams over the Seahawks, 35-10. The Sunday Night Football game, which is... Oh, wait, no, never mind. It's still an afternoon game. Arizona against San Francisco. This one's going to be interesting. I'll go 49ers over the Cardinals, 23-10. The Sunday Night Football game is Dallas against Houston, the battle for Texas. And I'm going with the Texans over the Cowboys, 13-10. And Monday Night Football, we got Washington against the Saints. Washington team against the New Orleans Saints. And I got the New Orleans Saints getting the win. Saints over Washington, 24-21. There's my predictions and my thoughts on things here in the NFL. And I hope you all guys, gals, men, women, enjoyed it. Welcome to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. It's TBK_06. Again, that's TBK_06. We're on Snapchat. Sometimes I do have breaking NFL news or sports news that I wish to share. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm going to have a busy evening myself here tonight, which is why I'm doing the show here in the afternoon. You'll follow me on Twitter at talking_Packers or my personal Twitter handle at Army_strong_06. So you all have a great, wonderful, dangerous weather in your area. And above all else, as always, take care.